It was 2 a.m. The world outside was silent, but inside him, everything was falling apart. He sat in the corner of his room, phone in his hand, but his mind was somewhere else. Nothing was working anymore. His income had stopped. A relationship he truly cared about was gone. And worst of all, he felt empty inside. He whispered, barely holding himself together, "Ya Allah, I'm tired. I can't do this anymore." But this time, he didn't just make dua. The next day, he went to someone. A man people turned to when their hearts were broken. A guide, a murshid. He sat quietly in front of him, unable to even explain what he was feeling. The murshid looked at him and asked just one question. "Does your tongue remember Allah, or only your problems?" He froze. Tears rolled down his face. The murshid smiled gently and said, "Your problem isn't your situation. Your method is wrong." Then he taught him a simple dhikr. No long wazifa, no complicated ritual. Just a few words. And then he said, "Don't just repeat it. Feel it and watch what happens." He went back home. Nothing magical happened overnight. But something started to shift. First, his heart felt lighter. Then, his thoughts changed. And slowly, his life began to change. Today, he says, "My problems didn't disappear in one day, but their weight was lifted from my heart." What if you're standing exactly where he once stood? Maybe you didn't click this video by accident. Maybe you're here because something inside you feels heavy, and you don't even know how to explain it. You smile in front of people, but deep down, you feel tired, mentally, emotionally, even spiritually. You've tried everything. You've made dua again and again. And sometimes it feels like nothing is changing. You start to wonder, is Allah even listening to me? And that thought scares you because you don't want to lose your connection with Him. But at the same time, you don't feel that peace anymore. Your mind is full of overthinking. Your heart feels restless. And your problems just keep repeating, like a cycle you can't escape. But what if the issue isn't that your du'as are being ignored? What if the real issue is something much deeper? Something so simple that you've been overlooking it this whole time? Because sometimes it's not about doing more. It's about doing one thing the right way. The truth is, your situation might not be as hopeless as it feels, because Allah is never far from you, even when everything around you feels silent. The real problem is not that your dua has no power. The real problem is that we forget how to connect when we are in pain. We panic, we overthink, we complain, but we forget the simple remembrance that brings the heart back alive. And that's why the same problems keep returning. Not because Allah is ignoring you, but because your heart has drifted from the way back to Him. After all the searching, all the confusion, and all the silent pain, there is one remembrance, so simple, yet so powerful, that it carries the weight of hope itself. A dhikr spoken in the darkest place a human can be, when there is no way out, only surrender. It is the words of a prophet who called out from the depths of hardship when everything seemed lost. La ilaha illa anta, subhanaka, inni kuntu minaz-zalimin. There is no true God but you. Glory be to you. Indeed, I have been among the wrongdoers. This is not just a phrase. It is a broken heart returning to Allah. And when a servant calls upon Allah with humility like this, in sincerity, in pain, something changes. Not always the world immediately, but something inside first. And that change is where every real relief begins. This dhikr is not just words on the tongue. It is a complete shift in the heart. La ilaha illa anta reminds you that there is no power, no control, no solution except Allah alone. It breaks every illusion of dependence on people, situations, or your own strength. Subhanaka is the recognition that Allah is perfect, free from all flaws. Even when life feels unfair or unclear, His wisdom is never wrong. Inni kuntu minaz-zalimin is the most powerful part because it brings you back to humility. It removes ego, pride, and excuses. It makes you accept your own weakness in front of the one who never abandons you. When these three parts come together, something happens inside a person. The heart softens, the pressure reduces, and the distance between you and Allah begins to close again. This is why people who truly connect with this dhikr don't just say words. They feel a release they can't explain. Because real relief doesn't always start outside. It starts when the heart finally returns to its creator. Now the real question is, how do you actually use this dhikr in your daily life? Because understanding it is not enough. It has to become part of your moments. Start simple. When you wake up in the morning, before your mind gets filled with stress, quietly repeat it once, slowly, with awareness, not as a routine, but as a reminder that you are not alone in this day. When you feel overwhelmed, when thoughts are too heavy, stop for a moment and bring your tongue back to it. Even in silence, even in confusion, just say it from your heart. And especially in moments of frustration, instead of reacting, pause and return to this remembrance. Because the power is not in how many times you say it, but in how deeply you feel your dependence on Allah while saying it. And slowly, without you even realizing it, your reactions will change, your heart will soften, and your inner chaos will start turning into calm. This is not magic, it is connection. If you are still watching this, then listen carefully. This is not just another video for you to pass time with. It is something deeper than that. Because not everyone reaches this point. Only those who are actually searching for relief, for answers, for peace. And maybe, just maybe, this is not a coincidence. Maybe life has brought you here at a moment when your heart needed to hear this the most. You might feel like your situation is different, too complicated, too heavy, too far gone. But the truth is, no heart is beyond the reach of Allah. Even the most broken heart, the most tired soul, the most confused mind is still seen, still known, still heard. So don't dismiss what you are feeling right now. Because sometimes, guidance doesn't come as a loud sign. It comes as a quiet reminder that touches you when you are finally still enough to listen. And maybe this is that moment for you. Not just to watch, but to return. So don't walk away from this lightly. Take a moment tonight, when everything becomes quiet, and try it just once, with a sincere heart. Not because words have power on their own, but because turning back to Allah changes everything inside you. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need honesty. And if your heart has been heavy for too long, maybe this is your sign to return. Because sometimes, the biggest change doesn't start in your life. It starts in your connection with Him.